Hello, welcome to a special edition of Joe of All Trades. I'm bringing to you a special introduction, or more along the lines of bringing my golf buddies a special introduction to our upcoming golf trip in Myrtle Beach next week, the 2025 edition of the Riper Cup. So sit back, enjoy, and if you like this content, go ahead, like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm at Joe of All Trades on YouTube and Spotify. If you want to give me money, go on Patreon and get started with that. Thank you. And then also we have content on Instagram and the occasional Twitter post. But let's jump right into it. I'm super excited. I think this is kind of fun going over all of this. And let's jump into it. All right. The format and schedule. We've got two teams, 8 teams, 8 guys apiece on each team. This is the first year that instead of going by age, so it used to be old guys versus young guys. However, we stopped replenishing the young guys, so we had to figure something else out. So we ended up doing a draft, 2 teams of 8. And there are 20 points available. The first team to score 10.5 points wins. And the tee times that we have and the schedule that we have is Friday at River Club, 1:18 p.m. We got a 2-man scramble. Next, we've got 36 holes on Saturday. We've got True Blue at 7:57 a.m. That's a 2-man best ball match. And then Saturday afternoon, beginning at 1:42 at Caledonia, we have a 2-man scramble. Then lastly, the thrill of it all, the singles match at Paulie's Plantation. I think it's set up to be a great weekend. I think it's going to be super competitive, and I think it really is going to come down to the wire. And here we go. So let's jump in. Rules. All players have a predetermined handicap. Thank you, G and Sully, for working with our either league handicap or USGA handicap and coming up with what we all deemed appropriate. So red stake, white stake doesn't really matter out at these courses. And there's a ton of hazards and waste areas to where we're going to be able to figure this out without much litigation. Out of bounds and lost balls, it's a 1-stroke penalty. Drop where you believe it crossed out of bounds or where you expected it to lie. Opponents, if they're being kind, feel free to offer a free drop if it's a circumstance where obviously everybody's like, it should absolutely be here. I don't know why it isn't. Gators, you get a free drop near a gator. Just my personal advice, guys. I've always been told if a gator's running at you, zigzag. They're fast as hell going straight. However, they can't zigzag. So go ahead and do that. Fluffing is allowed. Improving your lie. It's basically live clean in place, guys. Fall rules. Just keep it within 3 inches of where the ball lies. The scramble placement, typical 1 club length. And then the guys who are 60 years or older, they may play the forward tee. And we have a couple of guys doing that, and I do think it might be a little advantageous for the trip. So the teams. We've got Team G and Team Sully. Obviously, the captains, Nate Grzanek and Matt Sullivan. And we have these beautiful hats for Team G and the slightly less attractive hats for Team Sully. These are the teams. I do believe that this is all in the correct order of the draft. And let's go through it, okay? So obviously, Team G, we have our great leader, Nate Grzanek, great guy. Really loves the game of golf, has an absolute passion for it, and he really is a great ambassador to the game, for people that, are just kind of hackers and wanting to get into it more. Mark, I love you, buddy. Just a great striker of the golf ball. Hits a beautiful swooping draw. Is really coming into his own over the past couple of years, and is really one of the best golfers out there in our group. The crafty, wily, old guy, John Sullivan, next. John, you've been really hitting the ball really well this year. You're hitting it further than I've ever seen. you might be hurting your back a little bit, but you are getting it out there with pokes. Um, and then also the touch around the greens, the left-handed touch around the greens. Um, you really, you had a really good season for league, and I expect you to put a good performance out there. Plus, you're playing up from the up tees, so I think that that's going to be pretty advantageous on some of these courses, and I'm excited to have you on the team. Kyle Craddock, dude, I've never played golf with you before. So I've heard that you can hit the ball real well. I'm excited to be paired up with you. Um, I'm not saying that there's an official pairing. Don't look into that, Team Saul. I'm just saying is that if play together, I'll be excited to see what you can do. I've heard great things from the other guys. I just haven't seen you play. It's unfortunate, but hopefully we can make it happen over the trip. Next, yours truly. Just proud to be a part of this trip, and really looking forward to competing with everybody and having a fantastic time. Michael LaRocca, so excited to have you on the trip, dude. LaRocca has been a Brookledge or league member in years past, but his family just keeps exponentially growing. Good for you, dude, and your lovely little family. But we're glad to have you on the trip, and just a great guy, great attitude, always being positive, a violent striker of the ball. It's really fun to watch, but also when the flat stick gets hot, can be a great putter as well. So glad to have you on the team, Mike. Michael, sorry, nobody ever calls you Michael. But let's get after it, bro. Sorry. Next, Chris House. Obviously, my roommate, one of my best friends, can really come in the clutch. Not a long ball hitter, but can really hit some great approach shots. And if the putter gets going, great energy guy. And, when things are on the wire, he just, comes up smelling roses. So hopefully that can happen. Lastly, for Team G, certainly not least, Tony Curcio, Uncle Tony, just a great energy guy. If you're playing really well, you will absolutely be told from Tony that you're playing well. If you're playing not so great, he's probably going to find a compliment for you anyways. But great energy guy, Mr. Consistent off the tee. Hopefully his elbow is just fine for the trip. And the steady Eddie off the tee, and some really good shots coming in the green. So excited to have you on the team, Tone. It's going to be great. Next, the opponents, the bad guys. Team Saul. Obviously, Matt, somehow you have a kid and brand new baby girl, and you somehow get better at golf. It doesn't make any sense. You're just playing really well right now. Probably the best I've seen you play. You're hitting bombs off of the tee box, but overall just generally consistent play as usual. And I look forward to beating you. Next, Jonathan Manning, Mr. Consistent, great season this year at the Brookledge League. Not the longest hitter, but he plays a great power fade that he knows how to shape, and also just this year was hitting 60% of his holes were pars for our Brookledge League. That is just an astounding statistic. Doesn't happen a lot. Some guys, we might be able to rifle off a birdie or a par here or there, but usually they're followed by bogeys or double bogeys. That's not Jonathan. And the thing is, though, is that these courses that we're playing, that is going to make a difference in the long run. Is that if you don't have a blow up hole, the more likely that you're going to be putting up points for your team. Next, Cole, the young stud. Just has he's a great athlete, not a huge guy, but he has a great core strength, and he can really use that to, pound the ball. Just an overall great attitude, great time. I think probably the highlight of our trip to Western PA last year was the scramble that I got to play with Colt. We had a fantastic time, put up a good number, and his skills really helped me navigate a course that they have used to have a professional event, the Adaford Lumber where local hero Ben Curtis actually won. So, Colt, I'm assuming good out of you, and hopefully these difficult courses don't limit your game too much. Next, Jacob, JB, my dude. Just a great energy guy. Speaking of one of the best times I had in northern Michigan when we were up by Petoskey, Traverse City, is when I went on possibly the best couple hole stretch of golf I've ever played in my life at Arthur Hills. I wouldn't have been able to do it without JB because he put me in that vibe and mood to where I just felt like I was supernatural for a couple of holes. Obviously, the sun and the beer started kind of seeping through, and I didn't keep it together but it was, after 27 holes of golf already. So just a great player, great energy. He can, man, JB, you can really put together some great rounds. Going out and cracking 38 out of the blue is honestly not really all that out of the blue. And just your athleticism, and I don't know if I've seen anybody progress in their golf game over the course of 4 or 5 years quicker than you have. You look like I'm 36 years old. I've been playing since I was 10. You look the same. So, you're even better. So, hate to see you on the other side of the field, but it'll be a great time anyways. Eid, our own personal Dean Martin, really just a big energy guy, can make everybody laugh, can bust everybody's balls, but really keeps things lighthearted, but also competitive. He himself can really hit the golf ball, can really pound out the driver, and is crafty with that 8-iron of his. I call it the Nate iron. We'll see if it will be useful on these particular holes that we're going to be playing down in Myrtle Beach. They certainly work here in Ohio. Next, Shane Callahan, the Irish Hammer. Really excited to have you on the trip, dude. I think it's your first time, or at least the first time that I'm going and you're going too. Known you for 20 years almost. Obviously all your family, so super excited to have you on the trip. Super excited to have your energy, and obviously you're gonna just bring a great camaraderie to the trip, and also another guy who can just be sneaky good, can rattle off a score that maybe he doesn't expect. Shane, you can go out and break 40 on any given day. I hope you don't do it on this trip, but I know it's possible. So great to have you on. Next, Chad, dude. Chad can shoot 42 or 57, usually never anywhere in between, but just a great vibe, great having you on the trip. Always a good time, and I don't want you to win, but I want to see you do well. Let's get it. Lastly, Ty, played with you last year, our Western PA trip, coming back into Ohio at Avalon. It was a great time. You're tall. You can generate a lot of club head speed, really pound the ball. But all in all, excited to have you back on the trip, see you again, and even, just one of those, that's a great thing about having golf guys. So you may not see each other, you may not really know each other all that well, but you can come together for a trip like this and have a fantastic time together. I'm excited for that. I hope we can. All right, let's jump into the courses, guys. First, this is our Friday afternoon course, the River Club. Opened in 1985. Architect is Tom Jackson. He's a Carolinas Golf Hall of Fame member, And his work has been described as magnificent by Byron Nelson. Byron Nelson wasn't talking about the River Club, but it's still pretty impressive. River Club, so, and like, guys, all these courses are going to be quote unquote in the low country. It's kind of the marshy area of South Carolina. It's a pretty historical space when you're talking about South Carolina history. So it's pretty special that we get to play in these magnificent courses in this region of the country. Features water on 15 out of 18 holes. There's over 100 bunkers. All of these courses, guys, are going to have forced carries. This is no different. And so I think that my review, this might be one of the easier courses that we're playing. To be honest, I think it might be, but it doesn't mean it's any type of slouch. We're going to need to hit shots, and there's a lot of risk reward out here, but there's a lot of risk get us in trouble. Grass on this course and all these courses is Bermuda, and obviously that's different than the Kentucky bluegrass we play up here in Ohio. And if they're going to be bent greens, basically, guys, is that you're going to have to feel the green each way. If it's a bent green, you're going to feel whether the putt's rolling against the grain or with the grain. If it's against the grain, it's going to be a slower putt. If it's with the grain, it's going to be a faster putt. So you'll see me, guys, touching the green and figuring out which way the grass is bending, so I can figure out the speed. I should probably be only telling that to Team G, but whatever. Excuse me. Tees, the younger guys are playing from 60 to 140 yards. Old guys, just over 5,800. The signature holes are on the back nine, the 14th and the 18th. We're actually going to go through all of those for these courses. And as you can see, the picture here is of the 14th, and we'll go into further detail about that here. So here we go, guys. Island green, peninsula green. I don't know why they have to have it called an island green. It doesn't really matter. It's just trying to make it like sawgrass, which is also technically a peninsula. But as you can see, these are the tee boxes that we're playing from. If you can see my mouse, we're coming into it. I think it's sloped back to front. We have these disastrous looking bunkers up front. It's just get it on the green and try to two putt. Obviously, we're playing scramble here, so hopefully someone can get it close and you hit a putt. This is looking a little bit more along the lines of about 150 yards for us. Dear God, I would hate going 185 into this. Next, the 18th hole, par 5, another forced carry, risk reward here. So, and the picture that we have, or the photograph that we have, is looking from the back of the green to the front tees in the background. So, as you can see, there's a very wide landing area, or at least according to what they say is a very wide landing area, with this kind of jetty out into the pond. And if you can land that there, then you have, going to have an easier attack on the green for your second shot. It is reachable. However, if you want to lay it out right and play it safe, you can absolutely do that. Also, the kind of cool thing I think about this is that the green actually kind of hooks back on the land, so it does kind of give you a little bit of extra yardage back for the risky second shot if that's the way you wish to play it. And before we get in the next two courses, I just want to highlight Mike Strantz, who designed True Blue in Caledonia, who unfortunately only lived to be 50 years old. Passed away in 2005. He was born in Toledo. He was a mentee of Tom Fazio. He's actually discovered by Tom Fazio while he was working the grounds at Inverness, while Fazio was getting the course ready for the 1979 U.S. Open. That's Ohio's Inverness. He designed Caledonia, True Blue, and Tobacco Road. I know Tobacco Road is consistently considered one of the best public courses in the country. He's considered a maverick in golf course design, and in 2000 Golf Week named him the within the top 10 greatest architects of all time. I don't even think he has 10 golf courses under his belt. So that's pretty significant that he was given that title by Golf Week. And I've seen some interviews with him, and then obviously if you can see this photo, he looks like David Crosby. He doesn't even really look like someone you would consider to be a golf course designer. So I think that kind of his personality can shine through on these courses. All right, this is Saturday morning. This is our best ball match. We have True Blue, opened in 1998. It was used Pinehurst number 2 as an inspiration. And when we get out there, boys, you'll see a lot of the very large waste areas that you can even drive a golf cart on. It's obvious, that Pinehurst had something to do with it. This is going to be a little bit wider or a little bit more open for us on our tee shots. But however, the position of your tee shot is gonna, your second shot is going to be greatly impacted by where you put your tee shot. So just because it lands in fairway doesn't mean that you're making it more difficult for yourself depending on where it lands. So I, keep that in mind. Like I said, there's a ton of waste bunkers and the greens are pretty crazy if you do your homework and check these things out. Again, Bermuda grass, the tees, young guys playing at 6,200, and what I think is a pretty significant advantage for guys like John and Tony, they're playing from about 5,500. And let's go through the signature holes. First is the par 3 third. I kind of wanted to do an overhead photograph. I know that's what the caddy book or yardage book looks like, but this really it's just a significant. It's just a really cool hole to look at, but also it's going to be a challenge. I think probably one of the coolest features is kind of the beachfront bunker all around the front and to the side of the green. The boot-shaped green, which is double-tiered, and there isn't any yardages on this, and I think that's probably it would be unreasonable for us to put some sort of yardage up there because the green is so deep. Depending on where the pin is, I mean, we could be looking at a 120-yard shot to a 165-yard shot, depending on just where things are. And, for Tony and John, maybe even shorter. So it is a pretty cool hole to look at, and it's certainly going to be a challenge. Next is the 6th hole. This is a par 4. Obviously, it has 2 greens, so the yardages are going to vary substantially. If this makes you think of the par 3 in the front 9 at Good Park with the 2 separate greens, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. Both greens are guarded on certain sides with waste bunkers, and there can be some risk out here. It looks like, and obviously this is the left-hand bunker looking back to the tee box. Looks like if you spray it too far right, you may have trouble coming up on the left-hand green, but also, if you hit it out too left, then you might be in this big bunker trying to get straight on to the right side green. So depending on where it's playing, it's certainly going to be a challenge, but I think it's pretty nice looking hole. Next, 14, another par 3. In the tee box is obviously this kind of U-shaped thing back here. Some other tee boxes, but it is basically the entire hole is one big sand trap, except for kind of a undulating apron on the left-hand side. And guys, if you can see in this photo, it's a double-tiered green, and it looks like if the pin is in the front and you're on that back, it's going to be nasty. So This might be the situation where someone may pull the unkosher move and chip on the green. Sully, I know you're already thinking about it, so don't do it. Next, we've got the 18, another forced carry par 5, 18, risk versus reward. In my research, I feel like the landing area on this one is a little bit wider, a little bit more forgiving than at the River Club. However, I think might have to carry a little bit more. So just kind of the same thing, guys. Just, you can play it however you want it, but if you are going to go for it, you got to get it out here on this kind of, jetty area that's sticking out in the pond. And then you could possibly have, if you stripe it, have a very short second shot coming into a par 5. All right, and then we're going to Saturday afternoon, the Caledonia Fish and Golf Club, opened in 1994. This is Mike Strand's first independent design. Prior to this, he was working under Tom Fazio, but this is where he broke out onto his own. And I'm really excited for this course because I think it was kind of his, he made a big splash with his design, things that he liked that maybe he was limited in putting in courses under the Fazio name. So it's actually, it's on a pretty small parcel of land for the course that it is. It's a par 70, the scenery and kind of all the nature surrounding each hole is really significant. So I think that this is going to be the most aesthetically pleasing course that we play on the trip, and I'm excited to see that. I think I am looking forward to this course the most, just for that reason. Again, Bermuda grass. Tees, younger guys are playing at 6,100, and older guys not getting as much of a discount at 5,700. And let's go through the signature holes. So we've got par 3, 9. These courses really love their par 3s. I know I don't. Another kind of double tier green, a huge bunker covering the entire front of the hole. It is a shorter hole, but obviously if you hit it on one side of the green and the pin's on the other side, you're in deep trouble. And then additionally, it kind of reminds me of number 2 at Prestwick, or even what used to be number 10 at Turkey Foot. Obviously that's a par 4, but kind of the huge guarding bunker up front. That's kind of what I'm thinking of. So hopefully you can just put it on the side of the green that the pin's on. Otherwise, yeah, you might be in deep shit. The par 3 11th is the next signature hole. It's a little bit longer. This makes me think of 14 at Brookledge, in the sense that you've got a tee box on one side of a creek, you've got the green on the other side of the creek, and the creek kind of runs through the middle of the hole. So obviously you got to clear that. It's a angular oval green, where it's kind of tilted at a 45 or canted at a 45 degree angle from your incoming tee shot. And obviously, ball placement on a massive green like this is going to be significant. And then there really is, you might get lucky and be down on kind of the down apron area if you hit it left, but it looks like there's trouble no matter where else you go. Next, the par 4 14th at Caledonia. To be honest, guys, I look at this and this is the most scary fucking hole that I've seen on all of the signature holes that we're going to go through. There's some other ones. Latch, you might be crazy. You think I'm crazy because there's some really difficult par 3s at Pauly's Plantation, but just the mere fact is that this looks like a really tight fairway. Obviously, there's a tree in the middle of this bunker on the left-hand side. It looks very troublesome to me, and it doesn't look like there's much area for mistake over on the right-hand side too. So basically, just hit a straight ball, guys. That's all you got to do. Otherwise, you are trying to punch it out of a bunker underneath the tree on the left, or you're punching it out of the trees and trying not to hit it too far back onto the left where there's a giant water hazard running the entire length of the hole. Oh, by the way, from the yardage book map, it looks like it's also another double tier green. So have fun. If I were Mark, I would probably play this out right over the tree line to drop it in on the right-hand side for a great approach. I know you can do it. Next, 18 at Caledonia. Guys, this looks like a really fun hole if you play it well. There's going to be a lot of, personal thoughts, personal pride on the line here, and I'll tell you why. So there's a large landing area fairway on the, on the left-hand side. You can't hit driver unless you're hitting a little bit shorter. 3-wood might be a little bit too much for guys who can hit the 3-wood about 230 or more, and so it might be hybrid. And then you're looking at a second shot anywhere between 160 yards, maybe right up on the water, maybe 120 to 125 coming into this green. The thing is, though, if you look at this photo, gentlemen, the veranda on the back of the clubhouse is right on the green. So you will have an audience, and hopefully you can do them proud and get a round of applause, or you can be shunned and ashamed forever. So I just, I'm hoping, I'm really hoping, of all the shots that I want to make on this trip, a nice shot into this green on 18 is something I want to do. I did do it at Caledonia for a lovely birdie over the water. I felt pretty fucking good about it. I'm hoping I can replicate that shot. All right, next. Sunday morning, singles at Pauley's Plantation. All right. This course opened in 1988, is designed by the one and only Jack Nicklaus. It does seem like it's a difficult course, guys. I think singles always tears everybody up. I don't think that this day is going to be any different. It's known, challenging play, scenic beauty, the Maritime Forest opening 9, and then a Marshline back 9 with all historic, when I say low country, terrain country, whatever. Bermuda grass. The tees we got, red egret or 6200 for the young guys, and the white egret or red tailhawk 6200, and then the white egret is 5600. So that might come into be pretty beneficial for the older guys. Signature holes are on the back 9, the 13th and the 17th, and I'll get into those. But this photo that I have here actually does cover those two holes. So there's this kind of this land bridge that basically drives right through a marsh where there's probably tons and tons and tons of alligators. And on one side you have the par 3 13th, and then the other side you have the par 3 17th. So the 2 tee shots off of this kind of land bridge type thing into their respective greens, and then also all the other holes around it. So, I mean, this is going to be, just, if we're teeing off first thing in the morning, the first group is going to be hitting this probably about 10 o'clock. It should be, not 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. It should be pretty special. This is not as good of a photo, but I also have the yardage book photo or drawing here for the whole 13th hole. from what I've been told, everybody calls this the world's shortest par 5 because of what it is. Again, we got a peninsula green, and basically all you got to do is just hit it off kind of this land bridge. Obviously, the tee box runs. It's not facing the green itself, so hopefully the tee markers are for you guys, but otherwise figure it out. And it's basically you got to get it on the green or you're in trouble, and that's the end of the story. Gonna have to hit it high so it stops on the green too. All right, next, we've got a much better photo of the 17th here, but same thing, teeing off on this kind of land bridge over on the right-hand side of this photograph to come back over the marsh on a larger but bigger, much bigger oval green with, there's a little bit of safe area on the right-hand side, but trouble other than that. Guys, I'm really excited. Obviously, we got the trophy. It's obnoxiously tall. There's a plastic banana tape to the top of it. Don't ask why, unless you're on the golf trip itself. And then, obviously the banana is where the riper title came from. Obviously, if you win, you're riper than the losers, and that's what you want to be. It's a great competition to share and compete with great friends. I look forward to it every year. I'm really excited about it. And thanks to Nate, G and Sully for all the time that they put into this for us. And see you next week, boys. Let's get it. All right, bye.